This is for you, especially if you ever felt like there's a loop or a pattern that just keeps repeating over and over and over again in your life. Or like you've had your another way this might look. You've had your heart set on this goal. Um, I am in the world of entrepreneurs. I'm going to use this as an example. So for lots of entrepreneurs, this is actually a story that repeats itself. I know I've played this story out several times. We have this goal of wanting to get the business to a certain point, like whatever this milestone is that we've set for ourselves. And then it's like everything else in life falls apart and we can never meet that goal. So it's always this elusive goal. And this can look like something else for you. Really, at the end of the day, because what we're doing here is actually using some of Dr. Donnie Epstein's work. At the end of the day, he categorizes four domains of life. And I meant to have these written out. I will include them as a download below so that you have something to look at, since I don't actually have something here to hold up. Okay, these domains are health and body sense. So this is if you're trying to improve the relationship and the talk within yourself, or if there's something about your health that you're struggling with. Business and finance. So if you're not an entrepreneur, this would just be finance. If you are an entrepreneur, this is like all the things. If you're in the corporate world, this can be career and finance, like whatever this piece of your life looks like, that's a second domain. Relationships. This is a relationship with anybody that is not you. So health and body sense, that's your relationship with self. That is, of course, health. One domain. Business, finance, career, second domain. Relationships. So whatever that relationship is, relationship with your mom, your sister, your dad, your significant other, a coworker, whatever it is, whatever relationship that is, a friend, a boss. All right, clients, right? And then the fourth domain is impact on the field of humanity. Now, why list out these four domains? Well, there tends to be at any given time in our lives at least one of these domains that is causing a whole lot of friction and a whole lot of why the hell can't I get this to work? Sometimes it's more than one. Sometimes it's like three at once. And so we're going to do this little game. If you just think this is where it can be very helpful to have pen and paper. Think of the two that you want to call to mind. For this example, actually, we're going to do three. You may have three. What we're going to do is health and business finance, career. Now, bring your hands up like this so that they're facing each other. The palms of each are facing each other. And imagine in one of your hands, whichever one you choose, health, body sense. And your other hand represents business finance. Now bring your hands apart so that they're wider than your body. Okay, we're talking like wider than your shoulders, wider than your hips, wider than your body. All right. So for me, this hand over here, if you're mirroring, this hand, it's my left, but whatever it looks like for you, my left hand is going to represent health and my right hand, business, finance, career. Okay, so I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to imagine a stream of energy pushing the hand that represents health towards the hand that represents business finance. And I'm just going to see how far that stream of energy is able to take it. And so for me, that stream of energy took health all the way to the business finance career hand, and it actually kept going. It kept pushing it. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to imagine that this represents business finance and this represents health. I'm going to imagine my business finance and just this wall of energy that's pushing it and see where it goes. It's interesting that goes over and actually meets the hand that represents health. Now for you, what is very common is business finance again. In this hand, I'm actually going to change this one to relationships so I can give a clear demonstration. So this is just relationships. Okay, imagine a wall of energy pushing that relationships hand. And for me, that's sticky. Okay, and this might have been what you just experienced. This stops here. All right, if you found that yourself, one thing you can do, or if you found that stream of energy slowing down. So these are common like troubleshooting. All right, if you find this stream of energy, you're like, well, you know, this, you're confused as hell. You don't know what's going on. You're like, well, they both moved. But when I move my hands this way, this one seemed to slow down a lot. Your brain's getting involved. And so we want to kind of maintain, we just want to imagine that stream of energy and imagine how far it goes. So maintain a steady speed if you found yourself there. If you found yourself wobbly or shaky or like neither hand really moved or they both moved, here's another trick. So I'm going to go back and this will be health and this will be finance. Okay. Since I had pretty much equal movement this way, I'm going to close my business finance hand and I'm going to imagine health and I'm just going to imagine that energy stream and see what happens to it. And so it is still solidly going over to my other hand. Now I'm going to close my health hand and imagine finance once again, finance, business, career in this hand. And imagine that wall of energy or that stream of energy. And that's actually still pretty solid. Okay. Whatever you saw, I'm going to go back one more time. Hang with me here. Okay. This is, if you're like, I don't even know what's going on. This makes sense here in a minute. Okay. So I'm going to go back. This will be my relationship hand and this will be finance. Okay. So I'm going to imagine a wall of energy pushing relationships over to finance. And that one's just sticky. That one, I can't get all the way. There's a gap between. Now I'm going to imagine business finance pushing all the way over to relationships. And that actually worked. Like there's solid energy pushing all the way through. So what does this mean? This gives you really good idea of where to put your focus. All right. What we are doing with energy work is we're focusing on what works. Because where your cup overfloweth, it flows over into other aspects of your life. All right. So for me, if I were to focus on relationships and expect that to improve the state of my business finance, I'm going to be disappointed. I don't have the energy available in this domain of life to connect me with where I want to be in business finance. If, however, I were to focus on business, career, finance, I have enough energy to flow over and help improve and grow and basically feed relationships. Now, if you found yourself, so for me right now today, and this will change, this can change from day to day. Right now, I've got good movement from health over to business, finance, career, and I also have very good movement from business, finance over to health. All right. If I were to rank, even though I've got good movement and good flow in both directions, I can tell you health is still much stronger. Health was actually pushing this hand further out. It had that much energy behind it. So if I were to return and look at those two domains, health and business finance, I should focus on health because that is going to transform and shift business finance in a way that focusing on business finance might not have as much impact on my health and body sense. So if you're like, well, okay, so what does all this mean? Like, where do we go from here? We're going to take a couple of examples here. And here's where, if you're watching this and you're like, why is it stopped? I'm actually using specific examples of specific people and you don't get insight into those. Okay, so if we were doing this in a group setting, this is where members of the group can engage and we would walk through it. As it is, I'm going to record a couple of examples and I've got one, I've got specific people in mind. And like I say, this, so this video that you're watching is going to get cut